What is going on, friends, family, and fellow resellers? Thank you for joining us for episode number 5 of Let's Talk About It. And we are going to talk about selling on multiple platforms and how you manage it. And right now, I've got Glenn the Swamp Picker.
Hello, everybody.
Nikki the Poplar Picker. And Deb.
Swag Maven. No, Swag Maven.
Swag Maven. I just went totally. I had an old man moment there, guys. Y'all have to work.
No, you called me Glenn. Swamp Picker.
I was thinking swag. I knew it was swamp something.
You better take a couple more swigs of your sweet tea.
Yeah,
I'm terrible with names.
Hey, Mr. Sadie. Hey, Valerie.
Hey, Mr. Sadie, Valerie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn that down.
That's okay. That's okay.
My Harry Potter moment.
I hope everybody's doing well tonight.
Hi, everybody in the chat. I can't see you, but hi.
It's only Mr. Sadie and Valerie.
Yeah.
Which Valerie?
Valerie picked one in a little bit.
Huh?
Valerie, chick picker. She had to tie up a few things. Then she was gonna come on.
Hurry up, lady.
I sell on eBay, trying to get started on Poshmark, and then I sell some certain things on Let Go and Craigslist.
Well, isn't Let Go isn't there? Don't they have like shipping now, or is that one of the other ones?
I think they do.
Yeah, they do. They've really been pushing it too.
Offer Up. I think Let Go has it. I think like Offer Up. I'm not sure if they're doing it too. Maybe I'm not sure 100%.
Yeah, that's the other one. Offer Up. I couldn't think because I really don't do those things.
When I put stuff on Let Go, I put it on Offer Up too, at the same time. Hey, Sandy, how are you doing tonight? Hey, Kathy.
People want.
Hey, Cindy. Hey, Kathy.
Want to sell stuff. They have to offer shipping.
I do okay with Let Go. I've sold a few things there, and I've sold a few things on Offer Up. I've sold a bunch of stuff on Craigslist. It's good because you got cash in hand right then.
Yeah.
But the fact of, and I don't mind meeting people because I have a certain McDonald's that I meet them at, and it's well lit if I happen to meet them in the evening. But I don't really mind doing it. It's just the fact of getting in the car and driving out there to
yeah.
When with eBay and the rest of them, you're just packing and shipping.
Mm-hmm.
I hate meeting people because sometimes they say they're going to show up and then they don't.
Yeah, that's one of the issues too. And I think it's really, I when I was selling some kind of, I'm gonna call it crappy stuff.
Sure.
Then they don't want to show. I mean, it's good stuff, but it was nothing really special about it, I sold a camera. I've sold 3 cameras through Craigslist and got really good money for it. But there was always something special about them. One of the cameras had a lens that had like a photometric something or other in it that would automatically adjust the lighting in it, and it was from like the 70s.
Oh, cool.
But stuff like that would make I always had good luck with people showing up.
You can sell a lot of the vintage cameras on those sites, like Craigslist, and because my brother's into cameras, he sold quite a few through that.
And because stuff that I put on those websites, I don't or those apps, I don't keep in the same. I don't keep it back here with everything else.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you sell vintage cameras on eBay?
Pardon me?
Why wouldn't you sell vintage cameras on eBay?
No, he used to, but he lost his account.
Tom did?
No.
No. Oh, I thought you were asking about my brother.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, your brother used to do it. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Hey, Marie. Glad you could join
I
us.
misunderstood. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Because I wasn't really into selling pricey stuff onto eBay at the time.
Oh,
And I was wanting the cash in hand.
yeah.
So that's why I was selling it there. Just selling it on those. I really prefer boxing it up and shipping it.
Yeah, I do real big items. I got like golf bags I sold before and gun cases. I'll have them come to my work. Sometimes I'll meet people if it's right down the road at my storage unit. But I have them come to my work. And I see what Marie's talking about. They come to our house, but I wouldn't want.
Yeah, I wouldn't want anybody coming to the house.
I got 10 dogs in my yard or something, and letting them know, hey, try coming back.
I've heard some people, and these people, I don't remember who it was, but they were in Valerie's chat. They've talked about they do the honor system. They leave it on their porch, and somebody leaves the money in their mailbox, and she said she never had a problem. I don't remember who it was though.
Yeah, I can't do that here.
I think if you're out in the country, you might be able to get away. But that Louisiana, big city, I don't think you can do it.
Yeah, that doesn't work. They take things right out of our yard anyway.
Yeah,
in New York.
They steal packages off in our neighborhood. I live in an apartment, but they steal packages off to neighborhoods.
I know some. It was funny. I was looking. I get emails on one of the local online papers, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh wow, that somebody's stealing packages off the porches on houses in Nassau County, and I'm sitting there, and I go and I look at the picture, and I go, oh my God, I know that person.
nice.
I was like, holy cow.
Well, that's cool, Marie, that you live half a block from the police station.
That is nice.
That is good.
I mean, to the point, I don't want people coming to my house to the point that when we move, because we're thinking about maybe building a house or something this summer. I'd rent one of these little offices someplace, so because a lot of times you go to like Google Earth and stuff, those kind of websites, and it'll show up. You go over a subdivision, and it'll show up people that's running businesses from their home. So I don't even want that. I don't even want to see that.
Yeah.
So, you can get a little office for a couple $100 a month, inside of another person's office. So I'll probably do something like that.
It shows it that it shows the people's houses that are running businesses out of their home.
It'll show like this subdivision that would like to get this lot in. There's a person that runs not a physical therapy, the aerobics like instructor type thing. They do personal lessons, and their office is showed at their house.
Oh, so they're not like
I know for a fact, because I went to the website on it. They only do it on site. And I'm assuming they only do it for wealthy people based on their rates.
Well, the other thing with that too is like for the people that don't have offices, maybe some of them do sell online. I mean that's what they would use as their address, as their home address.
Yeah.
If they have their business.
Right. Now, my dad, when he started his business, his office was at the end of our house. He built on a double garage, and it had two offices in the front that he could run his business out of. And he did that for years, and then it grew to the point that my mom's like, we're going to start bothering the neighbors with all these employees' cars coming here. So he moved it to a different location. He bought an old house and renovated it and put it there.
Well, I remember in the 80s over by my grandmother's neighborhood, which was like 20 minutes away, a lot of women who were doing the hair cutting, the beauticians, they would use a small little room in their house that would be their parlor.
Right.
That they would do it. So you'd go to their house to get your hair cut. Same thing with like small time dentists who didn't, just did checkups or something like that. They would do it all out of their house. They'd actually have a different door that you would go into.
Right. I know a guy who's a psychiatrist, and he has his office at his home. And his wife acts as a secretary. So it's just him and her, and then whatever patient he's dealing with. But he doesn't carry a real heavy load, so he doesn't have a lot of people, coming out of his house.
Yeah.
And they're usually there an hour when they're there.
Yeah.
And it's all by appointment. It's not like you show
and
up.
all by appointment and that type of thing. And he doesn't advertise in the phone book or any of the phone book. Didn't even make a phone book anymore. So he does, he has like a very small one-page website.
I get a phone book every year.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get phone books too.
Oh, yellow pages now. There's very few white pages with names.
That's another thing too. When you have your own business, depending on what it is, you can sell anywhere, basically.
Yeah.
You can like sell out of your home. You be a psychiatrist, have your office at your home.
Well, some places you gotta be careful. If you're not zoned, I mean, you'll get.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Or if you live in a subdivision with an HOA, you can't.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
They don't want you to have certain kind of businesses there.
Yeah, you're not allowed
something
to.
We do unless you come driving up with a dadgum box truck on a regular basis. They're not probably going to say anything because there's really no sites, because you're keeping it inside your house and everything. Good afternoon, good evening, Summer.
Hey, Summer.
But talking about picking up stuff at the house, back during the Christmas season when they had so many people stealing Amazon boxes off of the front porch.
Oh yeah, that's what that guy was doing.
And and so people started doing stuff like taking an Amazon box and putting a piece of board in the bottom of it so they could hook a cable to it.
Oh yeah, and pull it back.
So people would run off with it, and then all of a sudden they'd run out of cable.
Or I saw some guy, I forgot where I saw it. Was it on Facebook? Where they did like an exploding bag of
glitter bomb.
Or paint.
Yeah, the glitter bomb.
Poo and paint and.
Yeah, I sent you guys that video.
Yeah, that's right.
They had something going on here where a UPS was here. I saw on Facebook. It was a substitute driver, and he was letting people know when he was dropping packages off to his buddies, and they would come behind him and take the packages.
Well, our with the post office, they have they deliver the Amazon packages, some of them, and they come in these white vans that don't have any lettering on them. They're just white vans. You can tell that they're with the post office because they also deliver some of the regular mail packages. But if it's an Amazon one, I came out to go and get the regular mail, and he had pulled up, and I went to go and take it from him. And what they do is they put it on your front stoop, and they take a picture of it.
Yeah.
So they can say it was there. So I'm standing there, and he says, "Oh, okay. If I give this to you, I have to take a picture of you holding it." I said, "Okay."
Unless they had so many stolen, like I said, he's protecting his butt,
Oh yeah, no, but it would just caught me off guard because like, oh, if you're gonna take it, I have to take a picture of you holding it. I was like, okay.
I'll just put it back on the step and take a picture of it.
But that's what they've been doing, because we've had stuff that allegedly was delivered, and then it would show up 2 days later.
That's right, Summer. We're already talking about poop.
Yeah.
Well, with me, I started selling on Etsy, and then I started selling on eBay, and then Mercari, and I think it was in 2017, I started to sell some stuff on Poshmark, and I sold one thing, and it was a dress. And I wasn't too familiar with dresses and the styles, and I didn't call it the right dress. I described it as long. I don't know what the midi, not a mini dress, but it was like a midi dress. I didn't know the styles, and I mixed them up. And she gave me a 2-star rating, which nobody else sees except for you. But I was just like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. And I stopped it. And all the sharing and all the things you had to do, I was like, I don't have time for that because I'm doing Etsy and I'm doing eBay. And then I was doing some of Mercari. But now I figured Poshmark out.
My biggest thing is, how do you keep up with, if you got stuff on all of these different sites, if you got the same item on all of these different sites, and you sell one, then you got to remember, you need to immediately go there and start killing ads on the other ones.
Yep, I immediately go and delete the other ones.
And I usually remember to do that, but I forgot to do one the other day, and it's probably sat there 4 days. I was wondering, oops, I forgot. I'm looking at it on eBay, and I saw it on Poshmark. I was like, oops, I forgot to take that off. So I'm doing everything super quick.
And what I do with Poshmark, I don't know if anyone else does it. I don't delete any of my solds. I leave them up there.
Yeah, mine are all. I haven't never deleted mine, but
And if I sell something on eBay that I have listed on Poshmark, I don't delete it either. What I do is I just switch it to not for sale, and then then I put in the title sold.
I mean, people see. I mean, if I get on your site and look at your solds, I can see them. That lets me know what type of stuff you sell too.
Well, not only that, but it also lets people know that, oh, she sells a lot. Like, I don't have like 200 and something items, and right. I've only sold 2 things.
Right.
I think
a little bit off at a certain.
That's my thinking of it. If they see that you sold a lot of stuff, then they're like, oh, this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm actually doing a yard sale Saturday myself. Which is Marie saying, you gave Justin the bug. He decided we need to do a yard sale this week. Well, I'm actually not going garage sale Saturday, but I'm actually doing a garage sale myself. My storage facility, they do garage sales about once or twice a year for their tenants. So when you open my door, it's like a store, in there, where everybody else has just got junk. It's almost funny,
I went to a flea market one time, and this guy had one of those like 12 by 40 car trailers.
Right.
The box trucks, trailers, and he had shelving down it. He had skylights in it and solar lights to make it to be bright in there. Right. And he just pulled up to a space and opened the back doors, which swung out.
Right.
And then he had like a little deck that he pulled out so you could step up into the trailer.
Well, some of them got fold down doors that the fold downs. You can use that for a walkway, and just pick grip. You have grip tape so you don't slip.
Right, but he, I mean, it was cool because he loaded everything in, and all he had to do was drive up and open the doors. He didn't have very much glass kind of stuff because that's what I was looking to see is how much glass he had. He didn't have a whole lot of it, but when he did, the areas that he put them in, it was like he took an old style Coca-Cola or Pepsi bottle crate. It has the little individual areas, and he would stick it down in it, and it had like a cloth or something on the inside of it. But he said, he could drive up and the time it took him he and his boy to put jacks up under the trailer, to make it stay, not rock
Stable,
around, and then pull the deck out the back and set it down on the ground. He was open for business. So do you ever have any problems with your with your keeping up with where you got what, and for the different platforms, or do you pretty much like I box 4, I know right off, box 4 has clothes in it, and those clothes are listed on both eBay and Poshmark.
What I do is I have my stuff labeled. Well, like with my jewelry, I have those little drawers that like you would have in the garage for like the screws and the nails, and I have a piece of like a label tape, and I write like I have A1, A2. And then I just put all the jewelry in there. And so when I list it, usually I will put where it is, whether it's on eBay or Poshmark or Macquarie or Etsy. I'll write down after the description like A1 or A2. And then I have, for the bigger necklaces, I have like these small bins, like really small ones that I have the necklaces in. And then I have regular sized totes that I have clothes and the hard goods in. And then I have this like cubby hole thing for shoes on my table, that my working area. And I have like some vintage cameras and other stuff, like my coffee mugs that I have up for sale. And I don't write where things are all the time, and sometimes I have to go looking for them, which I hate. But after I finish going through all this other jewelry that I have and get more organized, then I'm going to go through all my inventory.
Oh, swag. How many, like you said, you got Macquarie now? Do you have any item that's on all 4 platforms at one time, or
yeah, I do. I have a few.
Yeah, I got maybe a handful of items that are on both Posh and mainly clothing. Basically the one thing I cross post. But
on Macquarie, what I usually do, what I do is I treat Macquarie more as like a consignment shop where I put like stuff that I haven't been able to sell.
Right.
So I just sell it really less over there. And then Poshmark, I just sell the jewelry and clothing. And then I do I have vintage hard goods on. Oh, I also sell on Amazon. I do merchant fulfilled. I haven't gotten into FBA yet. I'm probably going to do that next year.
But what you put on Amazon, are you selling any hard goods that you find at garage sales, or are you mainly doing like RA type stuff?
Stuff I've picked up at garage sales.
Okay.
You can always find some new in-box stuff. And I've actually mainly been selling books, and I've sold, I think, 3 books so far.
Right.
And those were like religious books, Catholic books.
There was a lady in the flea market I used to have a booth in. She made her own jewelry, and she would make like 2 or 3 of the same piece. And she ordered from Amazon some like little tiny Ziploc bags that she could put in. And she'd make one piece for a sample, and it was up on her little board and had a number on it. So people could, they would say, okay, I want a number 3. And so she'd just go and find her little bags, and she'd pull a number 3 out, and, they would open to make sure it was the right one. And
oh, the merchant fulfilled, Johanna. I think it's if you sell, I'm not sure. I think it was if you sell 40 if you have 40 listings, it's, I want to say $39.95, but I don't have that many. So it's when it sells, the fee is 99 cents. And I don't really sell a lot on there. I have maybe 10 items up.
Yeah, I think with Amazon, from what I've been told, until you start selling 40 items, per month, that's when you need to, pay the $40. But if not, you're better off paying.
Yeah, because I made the mistake. I made the mistake when I first did it a couple of years ago, and I wasn't selling that much, and I did the $39.95, and I was like, oh crap, I don't need that taken out of my bank account again.
Yeah.
Joanna, that's the same account she's talking about. That's the account that it's $39.99 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Both of them are that.
Yeah,
So,
it's that's the account that you have to have to sell FBA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the merchant fulfill, I think, is also 40.
Yeah.
You have 40 listed, and it's $39.95. So I have less than that.
Because it used to be they charged you $1 per item.
Yeah, they do. They charge you 99 cents.
So if you have over 40 sales a month, it's cheaper for you.
Yeah, a long time ago, but they don't do that anymore.
Oh, they don't do that anymore?
No, it's 99 cents for the listings. I think it's after you sell them, as long as it's under 40 items.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I know I'm not getting charged $39.95 a month anymore.
No, You're right. It's 99 cents a listing, or if you sell more than 40, then you better off paying the $39.99. But like me, I've been selling merchant fulfilled for years, and I only do a few items a month, so I just pay the 99 cents.
Yeah, it's worth it that way.
How many platforms did you say you sell on?
Who, me?
Nikki?
Oh.
I sell on eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Amazon, and Facebook.
Now, see, the Facebook thing I've not ever really looked into. Because the only reason I don't even look at my Facebook page except maybe once a month or once a week to see what the family's doing. Otherwise, I get alerted about every 5 seconds that one of you guys has posted something.
Oh, I know what's
on the chat, so I know there's always something going on with y'all, but I don't have to look at the whole Facebook to see y'all because I've got it split off.
Well, what I do on the Facebook is, like I said, I don't want to sell really personal items, but I do a lot of eBay for my work. I belong to a lot of different groups. If it's motorcycle, you got one for certain year models, certain size bikes, certain vintages. I'll get on them, and people be talking about stuff, looking for this or looking for that. And I'll put in there, hey, I have this, and actually send a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll email me back and say, hey, I want to buy that from you. I'll give them my PayPal and sell it to them. Versus just a flat marketplace. I get on individual sites. So if you got a lot of certain type cameras or certain type vintage toys, get on the vintage toy sites, and you put it in. They got little for sale sections just for those particular little groups. That way, you're not getting 1,000 questions from 1,000 different people on these open market group.
Right. I'm not laughing. I was not laughing at you, Glenn. I was laughing at something Kathy said over here in the chat. She's being smarty tonight. But Kathy,
when you're trying prairie dirt, I thought before you can print that, prairie. What's it called? Prairie grit or it's a grit and dirt. I guess.
I never can think of what it's called, and I always call it prairie dirt, and they all make fun of me like Kathy's doing there. But look here, Kathy, you should just learn something about all that storage unit you got full of motorcycle parts and stuff like that. You need to do what Glenn does and see if there's any specialty Facebook groups. in your
Yeah,
area
that would work really good for you guys.
to see if you can sell some of it.
Cause mine's like 80s stuff, you know. No, hers is more current, I think. So
I think my ex-husband would probably drool all over your 80.
he's talking about a video store, he probably would, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ichi. Tara.
Yeah, I've had a rear fender for like $103 or $120 that sold for like $18.95 back in the 80s. And there were none on there for sale. And they had one on there that was like kind of used and all that, but mine's like brand new in the package.
Yeah, my ex-husband, any gear he would have, he would only wear Fox, like the Fox pants and the jerseys. That's all he would wear.
Yeah, I wore
it
it
had
all.
to be Fox.
Or, you know, Malcolm Smith.
My godson started riding dirt bikes. This would have been like 1988, 89. He started riding dirt bikes competitively, and he had a raggedy old motorcycle he was learning how to ride on. He was 13. And I said, well, Mark, what can I get you to help you get going? He said, well, how about get me some rider pants and the jersey with the shoulder pad looking things, you know?
Yeah,
and I started looking at good quality ones.
Yeah, that's expensive.
And I'm like, why don't I just buy you a motorcycle? It'll be cheaper.
Oh, boy.
I went and got my ex-husband a pair of the pants, the Fox pants, the ones that he went. And this was in, I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. And those pants were like $120.
Yeah. That's for the most expensive ones. You know, I think they were like $89.99, and maybe the real good ones $149.
Yeah.
But average went on $129, $139 for the average.
Yeah.
Pair of pants.
I'll tell you what I like about selling the parts online versus using a local site. And this is just my opinion. I think I can get better money because I could have somebody in California or Louisiana or Florida that needs that part. And it seems to me I can get a higher price by doing it that way with the shipping than in my area, because I don't live in a good area for reselling locally.
Yeah, that's true.
That's me too. Most of like tractor parts and stuff, I sell all that on eBay. I don't even. Well, my husband's a member of some tractor sites on Facebook, and he sold some things on there. But I prefer to sell them on eBay because I get better prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sent a pipe to Australia, and like normally local, I mean, I only had to pay like around $21 to ship it to Kentucky. But I was looking at the invoice, what he paid. I mean, he's paying almost over $100 extra dollars to get it, you know, shipped to him.
Yeah.
A guy down the street just sold. He's big into motorcycles, and he's got he's big into. I could consider them vintage motorcycles. They're like Hondas and from the 70s and stuff like that. And he just sold a 350 that he had totally done a restoration on for like $4,200, and he was shipping it to California, and because he could only get like $1,800 for it around here. That's all anybody would offer for him. And this thing had been restored. I mean, he had stripped it to the chassis, sandblasted, or he sent it somewhere local and had it sandblasted and powder coated,
right,
and built it all the way back up.
Right.
And
so
he ships off.
I'll use this one as an example. A snowmobile engine, a Skidoo Rotax snowmobile engine. Like if I sold it locally on Facebook, good compression, taken out running, I could probably get $100 for it. But for whatever reason, on some of these Rotax engines, you have a different application where they'll put them in an ultralight, and I think they put them in sand rails too. I mean, you could sell it online, and I can get over $500 for it.
Yeah, I used to be a Can-Am dealer, so we ran the Bombardier engines or Rotax engines in our bikes.
Oh, the Camera, yeah, I remember that.
Well, hello, Miss Chick Picker, Valerie.
Hello, Valerie.
Hello.
Did you get your loose ends tied up?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Yep, I got those loose ends tied up.
So, Miss Valerie, how many platforms do you sell on?
Oh, let's see.
So, Mike,
6.
you bought anything off of Prairie Grit yet? I see.
Has anybody sold anything on Prairie Grit? Did you try it, Glenn?
No, I never tried it. I kind of signed up for it. Not signed up for it, but I sent him a question. But he never got back to me because I was interested about the motocross stuff. I got 600.
I was going to sign up for Prairie Grip. I haven't yet.
Oh my goodness.
I'd like
So
to
they-
hear somebody with a success rate.
Okay, let Valerie say
Yeah,
what-
Valerie. I mean, she quit counting. She quit
Come on,
counting.
guys. I'm trying to get a word in edgewise.
She quit counting. So should we?
So I sell on, I think, 6, if I'm not mistaken.
And do you sell the same thing on all 6 of them?
No. So I sell. So number 1, I sell on eBay, and I sell on Poshmark. A lot of my, anything that pertains to Poshmark, clothing, jewelry, anything, basically anything that you can wear, I'll put over on Poshmark. I have Bonanza that I sell on, and Together, and those are imported sites. So I import everything that I have on eBay over to them, but I don't get many sales over there. And actually they'll pull them off. So if an item sells on eBay, they will fix that and take it off of Bonanza or Together. They'll fix the inventory. So I don't have to worry about that.
Once a day it pings eBay and it doesn't show up anymore, so they automatically delete it.
Right.
I wish eBay and Poshmark would do that.
And I just got back onto Macari. But I'm only adding a couple every day and trying to build that. And I'll put everything over there. But it's going to take, I have 1,800 listings, so it's going to take a while to get a good amount over there. But I'm trying. I still haven't got a sale over there, so I'm not real worried about it. I sell on Etsy. The vintage items, some jewelry items, clothing, pretty much anything that's vintage or craft supplies, I'll sell over there. And I think I have 35 listings over there and haven't sold any.
Oh.
No. I don't think I have enough listings over there.
Yeah.
I think you need more listings, quantity is the best. Like Tara always says, more lines in the water.
I had to walk away. Which site did you say you hadn't gotten a sale on yet?
Macari or Etsy.
I've never tried Macari.
So
yeah,
I've tried them. I've tried them a couple of times. I've tried Macari a couple of times. I've sold clothing over there pretty well. But this time I'm trying to kind of mix it up and do clothing and hard goods and a little bit of everything. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha.
And sometimes it's hard to keep up with if something if something sells, I pretty much know where it's at, on what platforms it's on.
Yeah.
And so I'll go over and remove it. And if there's a question, then I'll just go over there and look, and verify.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, and a lot of people wonder how you do multiples if you get sales and stuff. I just turn on all my email notifications. It comes right on my phone showing me that I got an email from that company saying that I made a sale.
Right. But I mean, like they always say, if you sell something on Macari, go right over to eBay and take it off, or if you sell something on eBay and Macari, you gotta give the Macari one up, keep the eBay sale because you get the dings.
Yeah.
So So whatever you do, don't delete the eBay sale.
But that really doesn't happen that often.
I had it happen once on Bonanza. I had a lady buy it on Bonanza and then saw it was listed in my eBay store and thought she was getting 2 of an item, and I didn't have 2 of an item.
Yeah.
Right. I've had that happen before. Yeah. And I think in that case, I definitely think that they go over to, they bring it up on Google Shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll show 2 different places. And so, they'll try to buy it. But yeah.
My biggest concern about selling stuff is forgetting to take it off the other platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you just
And like
don't.
you said, eBay has got to come first.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and the first thing, if you sell something on Bonanza, the first thing you do is go over to eBay and delete that listing.
Yeah. Because, none of the other platforms, you're not going to get a ding if you delete it or if you cancel the order. You're not going to get a ding on.
Macari, if you have enough of them, they will. They'll give you a no-no letter.
Yeah.
Because I've done that a few times.
But that's the thing, is you never want to cancel your eBay order.
No.
At all.
It's better to cancel your Poshmark, even talking to people that are big into it,
So
I just wanted to put that out there. Macari, if you have enough canceled sales, they will give you a no-no letter. So they're not and they do threaten you.
Yeah.
That if you have too many, they'll get rid of you.
Yeah.
Anyways. But you just learn that when you're cross-posting the things, you just learn if you sell something, go look and see if it's on one of your other platforms. You know all the platforms you sell on.
Yeah.
And if you get a sale, just go and make sure that you don't have it listed somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a clothing item, that's the only thing I'd be concerned about. Having to run over and check the other platform, because you're not going to sell this other crap that I sell on Poshmark.
Yeah, it's only clothes. It's not like I have to worry about a coffee cup on Poshmark.
Right. Even though I've seen all kinds of stuff lately when I'm searching Poshmark for certain things to see what they're selling for on Poshmark. Excuse me. I've seen all kinds of odds and ends now, dog bowls and everything else,
cell phone covers and all that.
It's true, but those things are not eligible. You're not supposed to sell those things on there.
Yeah.
Even though people do, the rule is you're not supposed to. So.
No, I've had a shoe shine box. Go ahead.
I don't support. I won't. If I see somebody that when I'm sharing, I won't support anybody that has an item that isn't supposed to be listed.
Right.
Yeah. I won't share. I'll share the rest of their item. I just, to me, that's not following the rules, and they have the rules for a reason. So, I just that's just what I do.
I have a shoe shine box, and I actually, emailed them, hey, I have a shoe shine box. I sell a lot of dress shoes. Was that considered against the rules? And they said yes. Refer if you get this, and I'm going. I feel like saying, okay, let me send you these 100 people that got cell phone covers. Take them out, please. Over my shoe shine box.
Well, the thing that I, if I can wear it, if somebody can wear it, then you can list it.
Right.
Whether it's makeup, jewelry, clothing, if you can put it somewhere on your body, then you can list it. Then it's it's okay to and I think they're trying to keep. I think they're really trying hard to keep it that way. Right. Because I think they would make more money if they just let everybody list whatever the heck they wanted to. They make a lot more money, but kind of platform that they want. They want it to be. I mean, originally they used to be high end brand names
Or-
on the site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clothing, purses, things like that. But it used to be, very expensive. And then they started, letting a lot more people get by with, not so expensive, more, middle of the road and cheaper items. But I think that's kind of as far as, they're opening up the markets a little bit. Like they put some gift, you can list gift items on there now.
They're supposed
So
to be
they're
they're supposed to be having a new category coming. Like I don't know if it's like formal wear. They didn't really say. So
I
it
think
might be
that is
formal
right.
wear, like wedding
Uh-huh.
or something, maybe prom dresses. So that should be exciting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Tara,
But I really think that they would like to keep it, like that.
and that's a good thing because it's like Etsy. Etsy fights for there's only certain things they want to sell on their site. And I was talking
Right.
to this lady, and she said, that she's known people that have gotten stuff kicked off because it did not follow their guidelines.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with that, I mean, it's like Amazon. They only want certain kinds of quality products on their website, and if you can't supply that kind of product, then too bad, so sad. There's other
Yeah.
people that will.
Yeah. But I think with Poshmark, they want to basically stay with things that are posh, instead of selling, like, if they decide to go to hard goods, it'll probably be something like home goods, but it'll probably be like newer stuff, not like the stuff they would sell on Macari. Because they want to keep in with the posh, being posh.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't Poshmark say they were going to go to Home Goods at some point?
I don't know if they did. I think somebody started
Oh.
saying that.
Oh.
Yeah, they want you to go to
Sure.
Poshmark to get you a posh frock. So,
Yes, you have to be posh.
Tara,
They like.
are you there?
Yeah.
What platforms do you sell on?
Well, eBay's my main one.
Right.
I would say it's my biggest. But we do have the Bonanza Together cross posting, and that's it.
I do too.
I mean, I do some stuff on like Facebook Marketplace, like big stuff that's too big to ship or whatever. But my big thing is eBay, and I didn't get in. I didn't, when y'all started. I have nothing against Posh. When y'all started Posh, it was mostly a women's clothing sales site, and I don't sell women's clothing. And I know now they opened it up to men's clothing and stuff, but I just never. I got busy with other stuff, so I've never ever tried it. I just end up listing everything on eBay.
Yeah,
I don't do
Yeah, you don't get like regular men's clothing anyways. Most of yours is hunting stuff anyways and stuff like that.
Well, most of my like men's clothing is snowmobile clothes, t-shirts,
Yeah.
pit shirts, motorcycle clothes, graphic tees,
And that stuff would sell great over on Poshmark.
sweater.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
right.
sure it would. And that I'm not saying any. I just didn't go into it. You know what?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
started, they just opened up the men's thing. Wasn't that within like the last 6 months? And then I was busy with selling this
Yeah.
property. And I just
Yeah.
I never put any effort into it.
Right.
So I can't say that I don't go there because I don't like it. I just was busy doing other stuff, and I just end up throwing everything in through eBay.
Sure.
So,
Well, Poshmark, the problem with Poshmark is it takes so much time with all that sharing and stuff,
that would be one thing when I hear y'all talk about that. That would be one thing that turns me off.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and I don't do the sharing, so I don't hardly make sales on there.
I'm not very tech savvy with my cell phone. Yeah, for like the sharing and stuff, that would be like it would drive me nuts. But that's just me because I'm nuts. So I don't base anything on what I say there.
Well, while I've been sitting in car dealerships and waiting rooms of medical facilities, I've been doing, I've been doing sharing and all that kind of stuff.
Tom's been poshing.
Yeah.
How many listings do you have on Posh, Tom?
12 things, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to like 12.
I would say you probably need a bigger store than that.
You need a big store.
What did you store, Tom? What's the name of it?
Yeah, Tom. What is the name of it?
Okay.
Bertha's Basket.
Can you please stop knocking my...
Did
What
you
was
let
that again?
Bertha's Basket.
Versus basket.
Bertha. I'm
Oh,
gonna put it in the side. I'll put it in the chat over here.
I don't think anybody would buy anything from Merce's basket.
Mercy.
How many Mercer clothes?
And that's my wife's name is Roberta, and that's where I got Berta from. Because it's her old friends. That's what they call her.
Careful.
So it's BERTA.
Just
My
leave it
first thought was Tom's House of Crap. I didn't think that'd be too good.
What did you say, Tom?
I said my first choice was Tom's House of Crap, but I didn't think
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah, that's probably not a very good Posh name.
That's why I put clothes in my title. Clothes by Swamp. That way people know it's clothes. Related.
Closed by Swamp. That might not be a good Posh name, though, either.
Glenn has a lot of good stuff in his pot closet.
Yeah, he does. And you got those new the lighting too. Your pictures are coming up good.
Yeah, I'm still playing with it because I got so much junk around my work table. I was kind of like getting in there, but I've done like a couple of hat and shoes so far. Yeah.
And like Kathy said, Posh is not for everybody.
No,
it's not.
My main thing is eBay. Everything else takes second fiddle to eBay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I make most of my money.
You can sell everything on eBay.
Huh?
You can sell everything on eBay.
Yeah. That's my main gig. But I like having things cross-posted just because it just puts more eyes on it,
I think part of my thing is I'm a little old-fashioned this way. I run a lot of auctions and that, and I know these other sites, you got to pretty much know what the price is out the gate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
I do a lot of comping through eBay though for my Poshmark prices.
Yeah.
I can see. I know 5 women right off the top of my head that if they were looking for clothes, they would go to Poshmark. They would not go to eBay. Because eBay is where you find tools and that kind of stuff. That's what eBay's thought are hard goods. They're not really thought of as a clothes place, even though they've got lots of clothes. But like I said, these women would go to Poshmark instead of going to eBay to look for clothes.
Yeah. I kind of go anywhere and myself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
My daughter buys off of Poshmark a lot. My oldest daughter, Brandy.
The first thing that I bought off of Poshmark was actually a pocketbook.
Oh,
I've never even looked at Poshmark as a buyer, honestly.
I told Brandy she had to buy something off for my Poshmark account so that I could get ambassador. So when I'll have her buy something off of there because I have no interest in buying anything off of there, really.
Did you make ambassador yet, Nikki?
Huh?
Did you make ambassador yet?
How
many sales do you have to make ambassador?
Well, I'm good on my sales.
You got to make 15.
15.
Is it 15?
I think it's 15.
Yeah, 13. Yeah. Then do a love letter once you buy something, which I don't know why they call it.
One love letter.
Comment, instead of love.
Just put it, roll a tape right there.
And I think 5,000 shares?
Yeah. Took me a while to do that one.
I think I still have to get all my sharing done to get ambassador, and then I'm going to have Brandy buy something through my account. But I mean, I don't think it's really that big of a deal to become ambassador, so I didn't really.
No, that's not that hard, really.
You get more follows.
Yeah, I got a little bit over.
Yeah, you
18,000.
get a lot of follows. Yeah.
Summer says in the chat, she says, I sell mostly clothing and I get higher prices. And I'm assuming she's saying more steadily on eBay versus Posh.
Yeah.
Well, see, I heard that differently, that Poshmark people get better prices.
Some of them do, but when you've had the stuff out there for a while, people sit there and lowball you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do get quite a few low balls on Poshmark.
I'm gonna try and
Probably
get my hooker
more.
boots.
Yeah, we're getting
my hooker boots. Sometime tonight.
Why didn't you just leave it on the kitchen table? Thank you.
I bought a few clothing items off of Poshmark before I started selling. Some tops and stuff that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see where you could make a good living on Poshmark selling higher end clothes, not really the high designer brand, but the higher quality, midline clothes without having to have 1,500 listings on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see a whole lot of $9 items on there.
There's people on there that do make a good living at it.
But see, those are the people also that only do Posh, so they spend all their time poshing. They're Poshmark. They get up at a certain time in the morning and they go and they check their sales, and then they go and they share, and they share quite a few times during the day. And they're mainly just doing Poshmark.
How did Sally make out when she was doing that every 2-hour thing? Did she sell quite a few on Poshmark then, or?
So I think she sold like 3.
Oh,
I mean, it made a difference. It made a big difference.
It did make a big difference because there were I was selling 1 to 2 items a week doing that, and then there was like 2 days where I actually sold, I think, like 3 items on Poshmark for the 2 days. So that was 6, and I was like amazed, but then I slacked.
Well, some of them talk about like taking one certain item and just sharing it like 20 or 30 times. But if you sit there and share an item with them, like, hit it, like share it 5 times in a row, and you go look at go back and see where you shared it at, the gaps between each share is incredible. Because that means you might have, 5 lines before each one. So you got 20 to 30 shares in between each share, even though it's taking you 2 seconds.
Yeah, I forget who it was that said that if if you there was a certain term they used for it. I don't know if it was brick sharing or something like that.
Or something like that, it's on one item.
Yeah, and then they shared it like she said she shared an item almost 100 times, and then it sold. And that was just that you just spam it, just keep sharing. And some other people were like, well, why would you do that? And different people put on at different times.
It's not all lumped together. That 100 is actually spread out, probably a couple thousand or more items.
And
looking at your items. Yeah, go ahead.
The other good thing to do is to take like things that you either want to sell on Poshmark, because you want to sell everything, but stuff you really want to get rid of, or your high-end stuff, make sure it's at the top of your closet.
Right.
Because if you're an ambassador and someone goes to share your stuff, or you follow someone who's going to share your stuff, they're not going to share your whole closet. They're going to share like maybe 3 or 4 things, if that. So make sure that the things that you want to sell, like your higher end stuff, is up first.
Well, sometimes I'll do that's kind of like to me the lazy approach. Hit the first 5 or 6, but sometimes I'm not in a hurry. Hit one item, scroll down a little bit, see an item I like, share it. I might do 4 or 5 items in their store like that.
I usually, if I'm sharing somebody else's closet, I usually share at least 5.
Yeah, that's what I try to do, or more.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been sharing mine, and I've been sharing people who don't have that much in their closet, like Tom. Because I
share this whole closet.
I'm following 91K. I have like 91K that I'm following, and I just got to either 44K that are following me or 43K.
Right.
And what I do,
got a sale.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. Well, I got almost like 21,000 plus followers. Now I'm only following 1,700.
what I do is I go to where it has like the ambassadors, and I go and I follow those. And sometimes there's only like maybe 5 that you can follow because it doesn't scroll all the way down. But I just go back one and then go back again, and there'll be more. And then I'll go to find new people, and I just go and start following the ones that just joined, and then the ones that have, I don't know, they renewed their closet or made it fresh or something. I forgot what it's called. And I'll just follow. And I do that on my phone, because I think on the phone you can follow
by city and state. Yeah, I think you can do it different by the phone. I think city on that.
But when you're on your PC, they do like they have you do I'm Not a Robot.
Right. Yeah.
Quite a few times. And I think they kind of, I've heard of some people getting flagged for following too many because they think they might be a bot.
Yeah. I think one time asked me, am I a bot? So no, I'm not.
Yeah, so I do it on my phone.
I was watching, and I don't want any of you ladies to get offended and just leave all of a sudden off my show here. But I was watching this other group of women. They were doing a live show, and they were talking about Poshmark. And one of the women brought it up, and then several of the other ones that was on the panel agreed or said they did the same thing. This woman said, she sits in a line every afternoon for about an hour and a half between her 2 kids' schools. Yeah. And she sits while she's waiting in line. She says, because she gets there early because she wants to be close to the front of the line.
Yeah.
And it's just so she sits there and she shares. That's what she does to kill the time and to get something accomplished. Tom with a disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with watching other people.
Well, I know that. I was just joking. People are my boss ravens. They're the ones that tell me what I can do and what I can't do. And
okay, I get good ideas from other people. I don't have to agree with everybody, but sometimes somebody gives me an idea, then I'm like, I'll try that out or whatever.
Yeah. As long as you're not leaving our shows to go to somebody else's.
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was just talking about it was like 2:00 in the morning, so it must have been West Coast time.
As long as we're number 1 on your list, that's all that matters.
I was listening to them, and Mr. Sadie says, "I love watching women." Also, also Thomas. You better watch out. Your wife's talking to what's his face. She might be talking to some spirits, finding out about what's going on with you when she's not around you. Mr. Sadie's wife is over. She's going to see what's his name, the guy that has the TV show, and he talks to dead people.
Oh, John Edwards.
Yeah, John Edwards.
Good for her. That's cool.
Is he
And I'm not
doing,
making jokes, Mr. Sadie. Don't get mad. I'm not making jokes or anything like
I
that.
think that would be kind of fun thing to do. Is he doing like what like where you pay to go in, like I don't want to say a convention, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah, that's usually what he does.
actually, I think it would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
He's actually from Long Island. It's either Hicksville or Huntington. He actually lives on Long Island.
Mhm.
And so does the Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo.
Yeah. I would love to see her. I would love to have a reading with her.
When my brother, what?
She had real long dragon nails. She would be like on Montan Williams all the time, and not to make this into a
Sandra Brown.
Yeah,
God,
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Yeah, she was very interesting too. But okay, we digressed to a totally different subject. So back to reselling.
So when me and my brother went garage selling the last time he was up here, we were in Hicksville. And he goes, "Oh my God, Deb, look to the right." And I didn't even know where we were. And I go and I look to the right, and there is Teresa Caputo's husband.
Oh, really?
We were right in front of their house.
He's a very handsome man.
Larry. They're divorced.
Larry, yeah.
They're divorced though now.
No way.
Yeah, they're divorced.
Oh, that's sad.
There you go, Valerie. Go to Long Island.
There you go.
I'm turning that wheel hard to get us back on track.
Okay, come on.
I'm sorry.
All right. Tom, you gotta just start talking.
So none of you have had any problems keeping up with you sold something on one side and you've had to run over and take it from something or turn it off on another side. You haven't had any problems with forgetting to do that, or
that's why I have Jim. He does that.
I can't say that has never happened, because it has.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've sold something on Poshmark, and then and I forget to go over to eBay and take it off, and I have to figure out what to do.
What about losing an item or misplacing it?
And,
oh God,
no,
I hate that.
I've done
that. I have had to cancel an order on eBay because so I try to keep those very few and far between, just in case something happens. But it does happen.
It does happen. We're human.
We're human.
Well, and isn't there like on your seller page is a graph where you have to stay in a range or you don't lose your where you're above
right.
seller or whatever. I mean, yes,
right.
If you have 10 that you can't find in a month, I mean that's going to affect you drastically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen. I mean we've had to cancel sales because we sold the item or forgot to delist it. I mean it happens. So.
Yeah.
I guess if you had one, I wouldn't like freak out like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my selling privileges now.
Right.
Try not to have it happen a lot.
Well, see,
no, you don't. That's the thing, is you don't want it to happen.
You keep your sales up
multiple times.
You keep your sales up.
You have to, and that really does. I mean, when you make a mistake like that, it really does kind of set you straight, and you get back on the straight and narrow road, and you're good for a while. And then sometimes you slack off, and it'll happen again. You know, but you just try to do better next time. So,
because I mean, I do think for clothing, because that's what Posh is. I do believe that if you have clothes on eBay, clothes on Poshmark, you're going to have a lot more people that has the opportunity to find that product. And so you just have to be a big boy and a big girl and run your business and try to keep up with that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so it's a necessity to have it on a couple. Some people have them spread out
far and wide.
Far and wide, Miss Valerie.
Well,
And I'm not being critical or nothing like that. You know, I just
No, I'm really feeling like, you know, even though I've started on Macari, I'm really feeling like that's not my thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm even though and I haven't put that much time into it, so it's not going to be like it's lost, you know. So I probably won't continue that, and I'm still on the fence about Etsy. I don't know, because
Etsy,
you know it can be overwhelming
yeah.
to have that many platforms. There's no doubt about it.
Definitely. And then the other thing too is getting into another subject is finding the time for each platform.
Yeah.
How you manage it, whether you maybe you list things one day on eBay, the next day on Etsy, or if you like post 5 things on eBay and take a break and then go and post 5 things on Etsy. You know, because some people can be power posters and post 30, 40, 50 things.
Well, honestly,
I can't do that.
Honestly, I think if you're going to cross post, the way I do it is I do it all at once.
Yeah.
I have all tabs open. Well, the ones like Bonanza and True Gather and stuff, they sync, so you don't have to worry about that. But if I've got vintage stuff that I'm putting on eBay and Etsy, or clothing that I'm putting on both 2 platforms or whatever, I keep those tabs open, and then I just copy and paste from one to the other, and I only take my pictures once, you know.
Yeah.
That's not too loud, is it?
Huh?
You don't hear that printer going off, do y'all?
No.
Okay.
You're fine.
Johanna Parrish said in the chat, she says, I kind of think of Poshmark as a backup. Sold 2 items on Posh in one day that had disappeared off of eBay.
Uh-oh.
Which is a valid point, because, you know, stuff happens to just disappear off of eBay.
With clothing, you got to know your stuff. If you go to any Goodwill or any thrift store, say 75 to 90% of the store is clothes. So if you know your stuff about clothes, it can be very useful.
Yeah. It can get pretty overwhelming, because like when you get up into the higher ranks, I mean, I don't have as many items on eBay as I used to, but I used to have 2 stores on eBay that were full. I had over 2,000 items in there. I sold on Amazon. I sold on Etsy. I sold on Bonanza and Facebook, and it can get kind of overwhelming. I mean, like when you've got that many items, and then all of a sudden, like one day I was looking at my items and I saw this hairdryer diffuser, and I could have sworn I sold that. And I was like, oh crap, how did this get relisted on eBay? So I went and I took it off. And yes, the other day when we were at the storage shed, I was like, oh, son of a bitch, there's that diffuser. I never did sell it.
Yeah, when you got so much stuff, you realize you don't know what you have, and don't.
I've done that with jewelry. Like the jewelry that I'm going through of stuff I didn't list. I'm looking at it, going, "Oh my god, I think I listed this thing already." And I go and I look, like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, you really have to keep a good inventory, because otherwise, you have. I mean, that was just me thinking, "Oh crap, I think I sold that already," and then, so then it's making me wonder why. Why am I thinking that I sold that diffuser? Did I sell that diffuser and wasn't able to find it at one time and canceled the sale? You know, I'm like, oh crap, you know. But it can sometimes get confusing, but you just have to try to keep track as best as you can. But if you can't, if you're too overwhelmed and you start seeing stuff getting confusing and you can't keep up or whatever, drop off some of the platforms. Don't try to overdo it.
Yeah, you
unless you can. And make sure your eBay is safe, because once you get kicked off of eBay, you can't get back on.
Nope.
I had a conversation with. I've mentioned him before. A friend of mine, his family they had Burger Kings. They sold them before the end of the year. They had 18 Burger Kings.
Wow.
And he was the CEO of the company. He said he got in the car. There was one day he was leaving out of his house like at 4 a.m, and he was going to have to visit every one of those Burger Kings that day because they had changed some franchise rules, and he needed to make sure everything was changed. And he said he got in the car, and he's made this trip thousands of times. And this one morning, he said he got in the car, put his coffee cup down in the holder, cranked the car up, and he said he sat there 15 minutes because he said he just had this feeling of, I'm never going to get all this stuff done today. He just got so overwhelmed with the same trip that he was taking. And he said he just sat there for a few minutes, and he said, I've done it before. I can do it again. So sometimes you just have to, you have to kind of cowboy up or cowgirl up. Don't want to be, use the wrong pronoun here.
We understand.
And you just have to kind of push on through it.
Yeah.
But
so like Nikki was saying just before about, when things get overwhelming to just like not do one of your platforms. What about when like you get burnt out from just listing and listing and listing? What does everybody do to change it up a little?
I went through a horrible burnout, and it lasted over a year. I went through a horrible burnout. I ended everything and just gave up and hardly did anything.
Oh,
but I don't agree with that. If you feel yourself getting burnt out, you need to take a break.
Well, you got to break it up too. Whether it's like you list an hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon, 3 hours in a row.
Yeah.
Some days you can do it in 3 hours in a row because you might got other things you want to do that day. But or if you go to the gym, during the middle of the day, and then do it. You just kind of plan it out. Like, say, I'll do this for 20 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
Or, take a break and share, or have your cup of coffee and watch the noon news.
Yeah. Yeah. If I feel myself getting burnt out now, I try to do other things, or sometimes you could change up what you sell too. I mean, start looking for different stuff. Maybe that's a good time to start adding something to your inventory. Like, hey, boy, I've never sold needlecraft kits before. Maybe I'll try that, or silverware or something, or whatever, tractor parts, car parts, You could just start trying to find another interest that'll kind of get you excited again about it.
I can't say I've ever really felt like I'm burnout, like I don't feel like listing. I feel like sometimes I get distracted doing other stuff. But I'll say, like, let's say I'm listing something like, I'll give you an example, music CDs. Horribly boring for me to list.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'll be like, today I need to list something else because I'm going to go buggy listing CDs. But it's our only source of income. For me, I don't feel a burnout because I have to make the sales. Otherwise, I would have a roof over my head. I need to sell this stuff on eBay because I have no other stream of income coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you're doing this for your sole source of income, then you don't have a choice. Well, you do have a choice. You either just bulldoze on through this feeling, or you have to go get a job someplace else.
Yeah.
Because most people don't have the reserves to go 6 months without some kind of income coming in. Now, I am not a power lister by no means. I can't sit down like Bridget does, or Tara does, or like Dusty does, and do 100 listings in a day. I would just go berserk over that. I just my attention span wouldn't keep it. But you're right. When you're getting to a point of burnout, then you need to go find something else to list, something that may be out of your norm.
And I used to be a power lister like that. And even when I had a full-time job, and I used to, before my burnout, I lived, breathed, slept, ate, everything eBay. Everything in my life was about eBay. If we went to a steam show, I was constantly looking at the flea markets for stuff to sell on eBay. If we went camping for the weekend, I would be going to like rummage sales, or I would bring like my notebook and take pictures before I left, and I'd jot stuff down in my notebook, and I'd be constantly listing while we're sitting by the campfire. Or like when I went to go pick up my kids or something, I would be listing, constantly. I mean, that's all I did was eBay nonstop, except for my full-time job that I worked at the time. And even then, when I had a chance, I'd go on the computer on eBay. Hopefully I wouldn't get caught, and go do stuff on there, I mean, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I got burnt out, because everything was eBay in my life.
And I got
how long have I been following y'all? A year, 2 years?
Haven't you been around for forever?
Yeah.
Well, sort of, kind of, but not really. I think I started following Valerie when she started the show. But anyway, Nikki, you've always been sitting in a truck.
Yep. Or a van.
Or a van, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Valerie is 3 years, isn't it?
December it was 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 2 years in December?
Oh, yeah.
It's only.
Wow, I don't know why. It just seems like it's been longer than. Because I think I came on shortly after you started.
Yeah.
I think I was in there towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been on there a couple of years.
Yep. Because I remember when Nikki found the frozen fish.
I was going to say, I think this winter I got a little complacent on eBay, a little bit slacking off because I had the sale of that piece of property. So I had a little bit of money in my bank account, so it made me a little lazy. But, I mean, my motivation is I need to pay my electric bill. So, I mean, it's like I need to make these sales on eBay, otherwise I'll be living without electric. That's the way I look at it. So I never really get burnt out on it because it's like I need to keep the train moving forward.
Right.
Well, and that's lately I've been hitting eBay a little harder because we have some big bills right now with hospital bills and stuff. And yeah, I've been like, oh my God, I need to start making some more money here because we need to put more money out,
It's
Yeah, me too. Because I mean, I'm eating money up. I mean, it's like a free flowing river right now, flying through my hands. I mean, every time Jim goes to Kentucky, that's $400 or $500. I mean, it's just like, phew, there you go, open your window, and the money just keeps flying out. I need to start bringing more in. Yes,
that's
you're dealing with that R word now, Tara.
What's the R word?
Rent.
Oh yes, I am renting my house right now. I don't have a mortgage payment though. I have gotten rid of a mortgage. I own a house that I will not have a payment on when I'm done.
That doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count?
Her renting doesn't count. She pays $1 a month.
No, I pay $500 a month, Nikki.
Oh, do you?
You say you're paying $1 a month for rent there.
For the house.
That's what I mean. The rent at your house.
Okay, but I'm renting a pole barn that cost me $499.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's on the property. So when you put it all together, that's $500.
Okay. All right. I got you.
$12. Give me a year.
But I know that's been a really a major thorn in your side is the fact that you're paying rent and you don't pay rent according to your.
It's
your
the first
statement.
time. I'm 45 years old. This is the first time in my life I've ever paid rent. I've paid mortgage payments. Don't get me wrong. This is the first time in my life I've ever rented. But at the time I did this, I felt it was the right thing to do for my family and my kid. So it's going to cost me $3,000 in rent. Would I spend that because I think that's what is good for my child? Absolutely. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mother's Mustache asked Tara, "You'll be moved this summer?"
Brandon gets out of school like the first or second week of June, and then I should really be wrapped it up, or I'll be down there full time. I'll I have a vacant. I didn't sell all of my property. I got another 7 or 8 acres I have to sell, which has some stuff like there's a boat over there we want to move. There's the Scout is parked over there right now, stuff like that. So might that stuff take us in July and August to move before I put that property up for sale? Of course, but I won't be living up here anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming out of this little conversation, believe it or not, that we've actually followed through.
Yeah, good job.
That you just have to be a little bit more aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're, keeping up with where you're putting your merchandise at.
Mm-hmm.
That you've got listed on multiple platforms. And you'll be okay.
And make sure you have your notifications turned on.
Right.
Can I add something?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so what I would say for any new person that is getting into eBay, you hear about these other platforms and that people are cross-listing and all that. Be careful with that because you need to learn one platform at a time how the rules are. There's different rules for each platform. They operate differently. So if you're just new on eBay or Poshmark, get to know that, work that system and get it down, so, and if there's any questions, ask somebody. You can always come here to any of us on the panel, to anybody in the reseller squad. You can post a question there. You're not going to get hassled for asking a question. But if you have questions, ask them. But don't get too overwhelmed with all these other platforms and everybody says they're doing this one and that one and the other one. Sometimes that's not such a good thing. Sometimes you want to just, like with eBay, you can pretty much list anything over there, and just get your listings up. Get, list.
And some of us that have been around forever, that's all we had was eBay. You can make a good living on just eBay alone.
Right.
I know when I first started, I wish I had a group like this that I belonged to, because I swear I started on when I first started on eBay, it took me 3 months to actually go and sell something because I was overwhelmed with the shipping. I just was like, I couldn't figure it out.
Right.
And I'd watch things, and because I was so worried about putting it in the wrong box. What's the difference between the priority and first class? And
yes,
it was overwhelming.
Yes.
Well, and that's what Valerie's saying is that it can be very overwhelming selling on just one platform, especially like eBay or something. So you don't want to add other stuff in there to screw yourself up.
Right.
Well, Valerie made an excellent point there, because you know what? If you're new to reselling, you don't need to be jumping around.
No.
You need to find one. If you're going to want to sell all kinds of stuff, then you need to get on eBay. If you just want to deal with clothes, you need to get on Poshmark, and you need to learn how to resell before you start bouncing around, because there's a lot. You get on one platform, they basically work the same, but you're learning how to do the basics.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think Poshmark would be the easiest thing to learn on, because like you go in your closet and figure out what clothes you don't want. You go to Goodwill, it's cheap to start that, to learn,
And garage sales, or if you have family members that are getting rid of stuff.
Get your clothes and practice with that,
especially yard sales, and you go at the very end of it, because usually you can get everything, a bunch of clothes for cheap
or free, so I'll haul it off for you,
because they just want to get it out of there, and they're not having to load it up and take it to Goodwill or whatnot. And then once you get it home, you can go spend the time to go through it and
Yeah.
Well,
But that's the thing too, is that, you know, a lot of people put down the clothing sellers. But there's a lot to selling clothes.
Yeah.
You know, number one, yeah, it's a high. I wouldn't say I don't get a very many returns, but I still get returns. You know, I might get 1 or 2 a month, but you know, it's about, you got to make sure that everything in those pictures tells the whole story about the item, and that you do your measurements. You know, put your measurements in there, because if you don't put measurements in there, if they're looking for measurements and they see that you don't have one, they're just going to scroll on by.
even the,
You know, so
like, you know, pair of Levi jeans that says 38-30 on the back, you still measure them, because believe me, they can be smaller.
sure. I mean, things can shrink and you know, so yeah, definitely do your measurements. I always suggest that, and try to paint a picture for that customer, you know, because they're going by your pictures and what your title is and your listing is. So
I have nothing against selling clothing. I mean, there's some clothing that's really good money. I mean, I sold a polo sweater about a month ago for $350. I'm not going to walk by it and leave it hang just because I don't want to sell clothing. I mean, that would be idiotic. And I will say, a great thing about clothing is you don't have to worry about it breaking when you pack it up to ship it out.
Exactly. And the other thing too with the measurements, that kind of covers your butt too. When maybe a customer says, "Oh, well, it didn't fit. It's not really a medium." Well, the measurements are right there.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, like on the measurements I was talking about, you know, I put on there the tag size, and I put my measurements, you know, and then I put the measurements. That way they'll know.
I always put in my description, because you have those people that sit there. If you say a sleeve is like, say, 22 inches long. Oh, well, it's 22¼ inches. So what I do is I always put measurements are approximate. So that covers it.
you know, when back in college days, I had a roommate. He worked at Belk's department store, and he was really good with his clothes, and he was really good with helping people find clothes.
Wow.
And one day they wanted him to help fill in over in the ladies department as like a floor manager type thing. And he would come back to the room at night, and he would go, he said, "I've probably made a dozen women mad today because they're swearing up and down they're size 5." And he said, "We basically could barely get her into a size 10.
Oh gosh.
And so some people they don't have a clear understanding of where they're at in life. Like me, I remember wearing a size 21. I had buying pants that were 21/30s. And now
you're a skinny boy.
I was 10.
Oh.
And now it's like 40/30.
I used to wear the same size as Marilyn Monroe.
I used to wear a size 5 in high school. Now I'm a 2X. A 2X.
I ain't telling you what size I am now, but I used to be the size of Marilyn Monroe.
What was that?
I ain't anywhere close to that size anymore, though.
I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah, but Marilyn Monroe was pretty busty. I mean, wasn't she like I don't know, 38, 20?
Well, that's not the size I'm talking about.
Three sizes. I mean, isn't it like your bust size should be bigger, and then you have a small waist, but you have kind of a curvy, voluptuous hip?
I
have like a big measurement for hip.
I had size 12. Anyways, I was size 12.
The crazy Mike, the crazy card, and Mr. Sadie, they were talking about finding a nugget now and then. I'm assuming they're talking about clothes.
Now, my Goodwill is so expensive. I mean, they start jeans at Goodwill at $10 here,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
20 if they're a better brand. So I mean, it's pretty tough there. I mean, sometimes I get lucky. Like I bought a Chicago Bears McGregor Sandit jersey. I got for like $5. I mean, that should be like a $50 jersey. I don't even tell you the truth, and this is probably sounds really crappy. I don't even go look at the women's clothing.
Yeah.
Not very much. I mostly go look through the men's clothing.
I didn't used to, but now that I'm selling clothing a little bit more, the only reason why I'm selling clothing is because there's a place with a bag sale a couple times a month. Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't be able to even touch most stuff here. That's why I don't have interest in clothing. I know nothing about clothing. But that's why one of the reasons why I never sold clothing or didn't sell much clothing before. I used to sell men's clothing a lot, but I could get stuff cheaper back then. Then Salvation Army decided to raise their prices, and yeah, I mean, at Goodwill and Salvation Army and Savers, you can barely, like Tara said, you can barely touch a pair of jeans for less than.
We don't have Savers around here. I mean, they might have some down by Madison, which is like 4 hours away from me, but I've never been in a Savers.
I bet there one day, and they had a pair of jeans for $20. I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Now they have our Goodwills around here. They look through their clothes because they'll have the normal racks of clothes, and then they'll have another rack over here, and it's like $20 for a pair of jeans or $20 for a shirt or a pair of a blouse or something like that.
Yeah.
There's another Goodwill I go to, and they have they don't do that. If it's a dress shirt, it's $3.99 or whatever they charge for it.
The Goodwill in Kentucky is like that too. It's like $2.50 or $3 for a sweatshirt. They're all just standard pricing. Where mine up here will individually price them according to the brand.
I've never been to a Savers. We have Value Village, which is like their sister, or was their sister store.
Mhm.
I think Savers is out west, and we're the east of the Mississippi.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
But our Value Villages, they price there. It's not like T-shirts are all $2.99. They go up and down depending what's printed up. Say that again, Glenn.
Plato's Closets. Y'all ever go in any of those?
I don't have one up here.
Yeah, I don't.
We've got one down the street, but I went in there. We started trying to look, and it was like going into my closet. You have to grab hold of clothes and because they got them packed so tight in there.
I don't like, some of our Goodwills like that, or one of my thrift stores got T-shirts. It's about 80 feet of T-shirts. But it's nothing possible. Look at them, they're so tight in there.
Yeah.
I will say that Goodwill, they make it easy to get in and to look at what the clothes and whatnot. Because like all of our the T-shirts, and I have a son that Sasha, he's big into band T-shirts and amusement park T-shirts, specialty T-shirts like that. And I can go around. I can get because all the T-shirts are on the round racks. I can go through there and I can speed through those things like there's nothing. And if I stumble across any 4Xs or 5Xs, any of the big boy sizes, I buy them. I don't care what's on them.
Right.
I'll either sell them or I'll sleep in them. But
yeah, if I had a source at just Goodwill, I would have a hard time making a living because our prices are. I mean, it's right by Walmart, so when I go shopping at Walmart, I'll go check it out because you never know what you might find. But I prefer to go to an auction.
Yeah, I
I like the church thrift stores. I've done good out of those.
that it's a thrift. Is it the thrift store that the church store that he goes? Todd goes to that the lady gives him a hard
Oh
time
yeah,
about
He
jewelry.
goes,
Luther
Yep.
nursing home or
yeah, something like that.
or something. It sounds like
Yep.
he's done good out of there.
Yeah, he's gotten some good boots.
He's got
Yep.
that's where he got all those Disney snow globes a year ago. He's probably gonna be
Yep.
mad we're saying this on YouTube. Anyway.
Yep.
Next time he goes there, he'll have like 20 resellers showing up or something.
Whoops. Tara did it.
I think it was Deborah. She brought up the boots first. Anyway.
Yeah, I think you have to look into other sources besides just thrift stores because
Yeah,
I've gone in our thrift store and I've seen 4 people scanning.
I'm back.
Well, there's all different places you can source.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some of us do the bulk boxes, and I was doing jewelry lots, buying off of eBay and reselling.
Like me and Tara said up here, we wouldn't be able to make money if we didn't go to auction.
No, I need to go, and I'll go. But like I said, if I'm in town, I'll just go peruse it quick. I don't have to go buy anything, but you never know. There might be something in that thrift store that I know does good.
That's me
Or
too.
I go to like my local estate sales, and to tell you the truth, I hate going to estate sales because they're all like a bunch of cattle all packed up together and stuff. I hate that,
Yeah.
but I still go.
Hey, God darn it! Sorry, guys.
Well, it's 10:13. I was wanting to end this thing about 10, but we ran a little late. Before we go, how about all of y'all post a good night into the chat. If you're not subscribed to any of these fine folks, please subscribe to them because if you go and look at their videos, they find and sell some amazing stuff. So
hit the 3 dots next to our names, and you can go to our YouTube channel that way.
Yeah,
for people that have never done it before.
Because Jada, I think you're pretty new. Chick Picker has a show every morning on her station, on her channel, and so they're always talking about something on there. So
yeah,
out.
Yeah, Jada Diva has 1.4 thousand people on his, so he has a good size following.
I think I met them either over on Farm All Fridays or Pizza Studios or something of that. One of those.
That's the first time I've seen his name in the chat.
But like I said, check them out because they've got some good. Some videos. Tara and Nikki, they come off with some.
I like that Jerry Ansley. I watch him a lot. I've never bought anything on him, but actually, I really like watching him.
Off of who? Watching who?
Ansley, that Jerry. He's an auctioneer from Scottsville, Kentucky. He runs an online YouTube auction a lot. For sure Saturday nights, but he runs it. I don't know. Must be at least 3 times a week or whatever. He's a hoot. He's funny. He gets some cool stuff over there too. He auctions off some real unusual stuff. He buys storage units and then he runs his auction live on YouTube, and you could bid just like you would like Dwayne's auction.
Nikki Joanna asks, since you sell car parts, do you ever go to pick and pull lots?
No.
Or Tara?
We don't have any pick and pull lots here.
No, only car parts I sell, I've either bought them at an auction or like, let's say I have a vehicle that something went wrong with. I'm not going to fix it. I go through, I look up whatever the most expensive parts are on it, and that isn't the engine or the transmission. I pull them off and I sell them. And there'll be something like we just did a Dodge van. It was like the fuel ignition module, the computer, the steering wheel, the vent controls, like the dash, the controls for like the heat and stuff like that. It's all that kind of stuff is what we pull. I don't drop the tranny and I don't take the engine off. I just take components off around the engine.
Right.
Yeah, we have pickups over here.
A boy up the street had an old car, and his dad called about one of the car we buy cars, and they were only going to give him $100 for it, and he was telling me about it, and I said, well, and I pulled up my phone and I went to eBay and I checked the model of the car, and I said, they've sold 4 left-hand sun visors off this car for like $20. And he's like, really? And then he got on eBay with his phone, and they moved it into the backyard so the HOA and the local zoning people didn't raise Cain about it.
That kind of stuff and be a reseller. Don't live in an HOA.
That's right.
Exactly.
They sold about $1,000 worth of parts off of that car, and then they finally called the guy that offered them $100 for them and said, "Come get it."
Yeah, I was about to say.
I parted out a Chevy truck and parted out all the parts, but I'll tell you this: the 2 windows, it was an extended cab, not a 4-door, just a regular extended cab. Those 2 windows by the back seat that just pop open, for like
right.
Those are $100 a piece. I know this because I sold mine for $100 a piece. That's $200 plus all the other parts. I probably sold about $600 worth of parts off of it, and then I took it to the junkyard and got another $200 for it.
Well, since then they bought a $300 car somewhere, and I think they've got about $700 worth of sales off of it so far.
I don't think the catalytic converter thing is doing as good as it was. I think that was bad. They were doing better on eBay, but it doesn't seem like they're doing as good anymore. I don't know if platinum's down or what.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I looked back in the chat and somebody said, "Who's farting?" and they thought it was me. I was not farting. I was making a noise with my mouth, playing with the dog.
Now, Cass says if Nikki did fart, she would say she farted.
Yeah.
She would say, "Whoops."
We're all family here.
Yeah.
If you sit through one show and come back, you're family.
I just wanted to put that out there. Rita Diva, I thought that name sounded familiar. I'm subscribed to your I'm subscribed to your channel, but I'm subscribed to your beer channel too.
Well, thank y'all for joining us tonight. If y'all got any topics y'all would like for us to discuss, feel free to reach out and send me a message. Or if we pass,
well, you're up on subs, Tom. You're going to be breaching 500 subs pretty soon.
Wow,
you're doing good.
Way to go, Tom.
Nice.
It helps when you do these live shows.
Yeah, but I just the required hours, I just don't seem to be getting anywhere with that.
Really?
Which there's a big delay. There seems to be a big delay about getting credited for those. So
yeah,
you'll get it eventually.
I'm not worried about it. And you know what? I'm not into it to make money. First of all, I like how I'm a talker, so I like having socializing with y'all, and we can discuss a somewhat serious subject. I would just like to be able to say I've got 1,000 subscribers and I've been monetized. I get 10 cents a month. I don't care. It doesn't matter about how much. I just like to be able to say I am.
Yeah,
because,
I'd like to say
I mean, because you kind of accomplished something.
Yeah.
So anyhow, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all, all the people on the panel. Thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Tom.
And y'all have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
If I can get to the right screen.